There's a reason your tracks never sound as full and cohesive as your reference tracks. And it has nothing to do with glue compression, even if that's what every other tutorial out there tells you. I've helped more than 400 producers finish great sounding music consistently every single month or even every week. And there's one hidden layer that the pros use all the time that amateurs for whatever reason just don't pay enough attention to. So in this video, I'll show you what actually glues tracks together and how you can get that cohesive sound in your next projects as well. Here's how it works. So here's a rough arrangement of a new track that I'm working on, and I'll play this with a couple of elements muted just so you notice the difference. So this is the raw track. And you probably noticed that the elements sound a little bit disconnected, right? Now, a lot of tutorials tell you that a glue compressor is the thing you need to glue your mix together. Now, this is true to a certain extent. For example, when you have a lot of very dynamic elements that are fluctuating a lot. So let's say I have 3 different background shakers here that are very heavily fluctuating and a ton more elements, then yes, sometimes the glue compressor can glue these elements together a little bit more. And I actually love that technique. But here, this is a very sparse sounding production, and the problem here lies not in the mix, it lies in the production itself. So at this stage in your production, you're at a very critical moment where you want to add some elements that glue the rest of the core elements together without just stuffing layers in there that actually make your mix sound muddy. So listen to what happens if I just add one specific percussion sound. So that first type of texture you can add to your sound is a rhythmical one. So here I'm using just straight 16th notes with varying velocity so that it's like a little bit more exciting and interesting. And the sound design is what actually makes this special. So I'm just creating this FM sound with the standard like here's FM tool inside Ableton Live. So I'm not even using a sample here. And this goes into a grain delay. Now the grain delay is quite cool for adding textured backbeats to elements. And what I'm doing here is I'm using an LFO to modulate the pitch on this FM sound. Now listen to this. So here that slightly uncorrelated background texture swelling in. This is what is being created by the grain delay, and it's modulated with the LFO so that it's evolving and changing a little bit. Now this goes into an echo just for a little bit of additional the backbeat, and then into a hybrid reverb, and then being filtered also. And so this auto filter, the end is set to a bandpass filter that is sweeping down and helping me create this like downlifter effect in the music. So listen to that. Now this rhythmical texture already connects a lot of the percussive elements in the background. So the kick, for example, is being connected with the hi-hat through this element that glues those elements together. But then there's obviously some more stuff that needs to be done, because right now that lead sound is pretty alone here. It's just like a stab lead. While I like the energy of it, I think it's musically just not really there yet. This needs to develop into some kind of a call and response pattern with another element. So watch what happens when I add in this specific Atmo here. Now the lead suddenly becomes context, and this is what I call musical glue. So there are elements that just provide glue because they give some more musical context to another sound. Now you're probably curious how I created this sound. It's actually coming from a granulated part of my voice. So I recorded my voice. This was on a trip to Italy where I recorded field recordings of me singing in a cave, in like an ancient cave. Part of that, like a little fragment, is being sequenced with Sting. This is muted now because I exported that sequence to MIDI. And this creates creates this like rhythmical chopped up feel. And this is being sent into a granulator reverb. So this grain reverb is something that I've been using quite a lot recently. I really like the texture that it creates. And yeah, this goes into a limiter and then into an auto filter just for like mangling it in different ways throughout the song and automating it. Now, the magic here is in that call and response pattern. So this is something where you just have to design the MIDI notes of one and the MIDI notes of the other to really work together well. But this is how these two sound in context just in solo. The biggest issue producers run into at this point is that their percussion sounds sound glued together and their melodic sounds sound glued together, but they just don't want to gel well in a track. Now, I have a solution with that, which I'm about to show you right now. But before we get to that, I have a free gift for you. It's called the Finisher Framework, my 3 simple steps to finishing at least one great sounding song per month. A lot of people are taking this to 1 song per week. And this is my exact framework that we also teach the people inside our coaching program. So you can get that completely for free by going to pickyourself.com/framework. The link is also in the description. Now, the last element to make all of this work and gel well together is what I called texture here. Now, this is without and then with. So this is very subtle, really hard to spot, but it actually makes a whole lot of difference, especially in the parts that are even more sparse. Check this out. This is it in solo. Now, as you can see, this is Wavetable with a relatively simple patch going into the hybrid reverb and then into an auto filter. Now, I will show you how to create these types of textures on your own because that is actually super effective and very easy to do. So I'll create a new instance of Wavetable. And so the type of Wavetable you're looking for is not one of these like basic, very melodic shapes. You actually want to go to some of these like noises and you create a really long MIDI notes. And I'm just going to use the one that we've already have here. I especially like the ones that don't contain that much melodic information, so like this broken filter here, for example. The way you animate this now is you go to the modulation matrix here and you map an LFO, first of all, to the wavetable position. Now, this is just the beginning, so more cool stuff to come. And then the LFO itself, you set to like a slower setting, and also you deactivate the retrigger. So we want this to ebb and flow and not start with every MIDI note. Now bring down the amount a little bit so that it's just fluctuating a tiny bit here. Make this a little bit louder now. Now, if you want to, you can blend this with the second type of noise. And we'll just add the second LFO to that, a slightly different rate. Now, the problem is this is still relatively small sounding and it's way too tonal. And we will change this into something that sounds much more rich and textured. So what you have to do is, so first of all, we put this into unison. So also we use the noise setting or the shimmer. Like you can check out which one sounds best to you. Just use a few more voices here. So to me, for these, shimmer and noise sounded the best. I will just use the noise here. And then what you have to do is you have to play around with the warping of these. So warping or FMing of these two oscillators. This is like the secret sauce of how you make this work. So we just pick one of the LFOs that we're already using and we'll try out what this sounds like if we warp this a little bit. For the oscillator 2, we'll use a little bit of FM. Now for the first one, this is still a bit too tonal for me, so we can use a bit of wave folding as well. Well, this is already really cool sounding, but we can take this to the next level. So let's first of all use the hybrid reverb. And with the hybrid reverb, I really love either the dark hall or the shimmer setting. Let's go to shimmer this time and not any of the convolution reverbs. Now the shimmer is an algorithmic reverb that is really specialized in creating these types of textures. I love it for that. So we'll keep the decay more or less where it is, make maybe the size a bit bigger. Let's run this in this room. So this is pitched up. If you want like a darker texture, you can also pitch it down. That's actually quite cool. I like this. And I love this vintage setting because if you put this to older or to extreme, you'll see. So I actually like the old because that once again infuses a bit of high frequencies. Now let's layer that just with kick, rumble, some percussions, and maybe the main lead sound. Let's just listen to what that sounds like. Now you sometimes want that to be like a bit more in motion, so you could either sidechain this to the kick and that way it will be ducked every time the kick hits. So that's actually a quite cool technique you can use. Or use something like Shaperbox, a tool that shapes it exactly in the way that you want it to be. This is actually my preferred method of doing it. There's also another cool trick that you can use just using the auto filter. So you can bring the auto filter before the hybrid reverb, and then you actually use the LFO or the envelope of that auto filter to create that dynamic movement. So we could, for example, just use kick and texture for now, and then for the auto filter we'll use a high cut filter. So you have to add LFO, you have to set the rate to quarter notes. The phase is still 0. The problem is that it hits exactly at the same time as kick drum, so like this. But you want to get it out of the way of the kick drum. So what you do is you just bring this up to, for example, 180 degree, which just shifts the phase of that internal LFO. Then it's opening up a little bit more. Then you just fine tune the settings until it sounds good to you, where it's like ducking a little bit below the kick, but still being present and providing the texture. So now using these techniques, your tracks will definitely sound more glued together. But what if your mix therefore sounds more muddy because of these additional elements? Well, I've made this video that you should watch next because it's solving that specific problem for you as well.